Welcome to New Frontiers in Retail Tech, where I'll be discussing technology startups reinventing the brick-and-mortar store. In 2017, is physical retail going extinct? We've certainly seen a rash of headlines telling us so over the past few months, from sources ranging from Quartz to The Atlantic to even Warren Buffett. But at the same time, tracking private market activity at CB Insights, we see a new category of startups emerging which view brick-and-mortar retailers as their prime market. These startups are aiming to work with brick-and-mortar retailers to offer them technology tools to enhance the in-store experience. And investors are on board. As we can see, these startups serving brick-and-mortar retailers are on track to raise over $1.2 billion this year. So what's going on here? This is clearly a heated debate with very smart people, very motivated, very opinionated people on both sides. On the one hand, we see, of course, we're all very familiar with many of the reasons people believe physical retail may be headed toward extinction, including declines in foot traffic, the rise of e-commerce, and beyond these reasons that are fairly quotidian at this point, we see some of the top retailers in the world looking at technologies that could render physical storefronts irrelevant. We see, for example, Amazon looking into automated manufacturing, using technology that could link consumers directly to factories, letting them order customized products, see those products manufactured on the spot, and then shipped directly to consumers' doors with no need for shoppers to visit a store at all. We see Walmart, one of the world's biggest brick-and-mortar retailers, looking into ways to leverage smart home technology to track shoppers' usage of products in the home and then automatically ship products they believe that user will need without a need for the shopper to visit a Walmart store or even a Walmart website. For example, most recently, Walmart actually patented a smart trash can device that would scan products as the shopper discards them, recognize that the product is used up, and then automatically order a replacement product to be shipped directly to the shopper. No interaction needed on the consumer's part. More futuristically, as we see this point of sale moving closer into the home, we also see Amazon and other retailers looking at ways to store goods closer to consumers' homes. For example, Amazon, of course, has a number of drone-related patents. Most notably, or most shockingly, perhaps, they've looked into ways to store products in floating blimp-like warehouses, as we can see in the patent image on the right. These flying warehouses would float 45,000 feet above the ground. That's higher than commercial airlines fly, and then send goods down to shoppers on the ground via small drones that would shuttle back and forth. This, of course, would potentially render storefronts irrelevant and is perhaps the idea of adaptive transitory retail in its purest form, since these flying warehouses could adapt in real time to shifting consumer demand on the ground. For example, if a sports game were to be going on, the flying warehouse could drift closer to the stadium, having stocked up on sports goods, and then be prepared to serve customers in the stadium via drone. So very futuristic, but we see where some of these retailers' heads are at. On the other hand, as I mentioned before, investors are pouring millions of dollars into startups aiming to modernize and enhance and revive brick-and-mortar retail. We see dozens, or really hundreds, of these startups aiming to transform nearly every aspect of the in-store experience. And how are they aiming to save physical retail? It really all boils down to data, data, and more data. These startups are using technology to help brick-and-mortar retailers capture new data streams from in-store consumers, data that would previously have been lost, such as where shoppers are coming from, what are the online habits of offline shoppers, store visitors, where shoppers browse in the stores, what products they may pick up and then put back onto the shelves without buying. These startups are helping retailers analyze these massive data streams using artificial intelligence and other technologies, and then they're helping retailers make more intelligent decisions based on that data. I'll now dive a little bit deeper into the various steps of the in-store experience that these technology startups are aiming to enhance. Starting with planning in-store displays. By testing new displays in virtual reality, retailers can capture huge amounts of data that would otherwise have been lost to help them design and refine displays that will more strongly attract consumers. In Context Solutions is a notable startup here, which works with Walmart, Nestle, and other major brands to let them test new display designs in virtual reality on consumers to see how consumers will react, even where their eyes move. As I think we're all well aware, there can be a major difference between what shoppers say they'll respond to in a focus group versus what they actually do when it comes time to pull out their wallet. But by seeing how shoppers react to store layouts and displays in virtual reality, retailers and brands can better understand the impact of their plans and then refine them and improve them before spending the money to build and deploy these displays and store designs. Now, when it comes to stocking those shelves, we see artificial intelligence having a major impact, including through German-based startup Blue Yonder, which works with a number of grocery retailers and which uses artificial intelligence tools to make merchandising more predictive. Blue Yonder says its tools reduce out of stocks and can boost revenue and profitability. Now, tracking shoppers throughout the store is a technology that's already been fairly widely adapted by retailers, supported in part by Apple's iBeacon technology, which can track Bluetooth signals emanating from phones. And we do see a number of startups working in this area to track shoppers' movements throughout the store and also potentially offer proximity marketing messages. They're using a variety of technologies for this tracking, including, in the most common category, beacons, including Apple's iBeacons and beacons of their own production, which can track signals emanating from shoppers' smartphones to track their movements and also potentially send proximity marketing alerts, notifications, text messages. We also see startups offering plug-and-play guest Wi-Fi systems to retailers. I think it can be a major benefit for stores, cafes, restaurants to offer free Wi-Fi to their visitors. And these startups provide platforms for businesses to easily do so, while also giving them tools to monitor data about the users of these Wi-Fi systems, scraping demographic information, tracking repeat visitors, and more. In the smaller category, we do see some startups using actual physical signals from shoppers to understand how many and the types of shoppers coming into stores, such as sensing heat from foot traffic that comes in the store, even visually monitoring the footwear of shoppers that enter a store and making demographic predictions about the demographics of shoppers based on that footwear that they observe. Now, of course, it's all well and good to capture these new huge amounts of data on shoppers and store it on servers somewhere for later analysis, but it's also important to put that data in the hands of store staff in real time. Of course, that human interaction between store associates and shoppers is one of the major things that differentiates in-store shopping from e-commerce. And we see startups doing this mainly through mobile apps, Startups in this area include Tulip Retail and New Store. Both these startups offer mobile apps which can be used by store associates to manage CRM information on shoppers, access online and offline inventory, even perhaps do a mobile checkout in the store aisles to better serve shoppers. Both these startups have raised a significant amount of money. New Store was actually founded by the previous founder of Demandware, which was later acquired by Salesforce for nearly $3 billion. So this could certainly be a startup to watch. So improving service is one way to attract shoppers in stores. Another way is to provide technologies that create more engaging in-store experiences. We see gamification, for example, such as startup Xubaka, which focuses on the Asian markets and has worked with L'Oreal, Nestle, and other brands who sell their products in grocery stores, convenience stores, where they're stocked right alongside the products of dozens of other brands. Xubaka works with these companies to install interactive digital tablets in the aisles with branded games to attract shoppers to that specific brand of product on the shelf, engage them with a game, give them a memorable experience, while collecting some demographic data about the shopper. Sephora has always been a leader in creating engaging, memorable in-store experiences, of course, through their long-standing practice of offering the ability to try on any of the products in their stores, but also through their in-store technology. So you can see here, these photos were taken just a few weeks ago in Sephora's new flagship store in Midtown Manhattan. And we can really see a store stocked full of technology with rows and rows of interactive digital tablets that let shoppers scroll through inventory catalogs, see digital makeup tutorials, learn about new products, and even try on makeup virtually. Of course, as they do so, as the shoppers do so, these tablets are collecting huge amounts of data about shoppers' interests that would otherwise have been lost if it were left to shoppers just wandering throughout the aisles. And of course, this seemed so interesting, I had to try it myself. We can see that Sephora has actually partnered with a startup called Modaface to offer this virtual makeup try-on technology in its in-store tablets, as well as through its mobile app. This virtual try-on technology, or sort of augmented reality, is a terrific way to encourage shoppers to play around and experiment with different makeup looks they may not otherwise have tried, to be educated about new styles, and then to easily add the styles they try on into their online shopping cart in just one click. Now, at the same time, these apps are collecting data on everything that would never have been captured if the shoppers were just trying on the products themselves in the store aisle, including which products shoppers tend to try on first, which products they tend to try on before buying or try on and decide not to buy, which products people of certain complexions or colorings tend to gravitate to, and even which products or looks shoppers tend to design on their own, which Sephora may not have thought of, and can give inspiration to stylists and marketing teams down the road. Now, this technology is, the augmented reality technology is already deployed, but in the future, we could see companies combining that image analysis with 3D printing to actually produce customized makeup blends. L'Oreal, for example, has patented a method that would view shoppers with a camera in the store, parse their skin tone, their facial imagery, and then on the spot 3D print a makeup blend customized to suit them best. So this would be, of course, capturing the data while also giving shoppers a very engaging, personalized in-store experience. And in the future, while we're waiting for our 3D printed custom products, maybe there'll be robots to serve us up a cup of coffee as well. These robots are already deployed. In January in San Francisco, a startup called Cafe X actually opened its first robotic cafe. Shoppers can order and pay via mobile app while the robotic arm mixes up and serves a personalized coffee blend. By pushing shoppers to order and pay via mobile app, it's collecting shopper data, shopper preference data on preferences, repeat visitors, etc., while also automating the process. And robots such as these, robotic arms that could serve food and beverages, could be an interesting way for retailers down the road to add experiential features to their stores without necessarily needing to hire more staff, or also to free up their staff for those more high-value client interactions, while robots can handle things like serving coffee. Looking at these interactive experiential retail models, another very interesting model is Beta, a startup which has opened stores in Silicon Valley that act as physical outposts for brands to offer experiences without spending the money to open up their own long-term store locations. So Beta operates a store and works with brands selling technology gadgets such as smartwatches, robotic toys, etc., that shoppers may not feel so comfortable buying online since they're not so familiar with them, so they can go to a Beta store and play around with the products, experience them, and then Beta pushes those shoppers to buy online. So it's an interesting way for brands to give shoppers an experience without setting up their own stores and spending the money to stock those stores with inventory. We also see startups such as Appear Here, based in London, which act as marketplaces between brands that may be mostly digital, may not want to, again, spend the capital to open long-term physical retail locations, and between those brands and then between short-term real estate spaces where Appear Here can help them set up short-term experiential pop-up shops for consumers. As we can see from these photos, these pop-up shops tend to be very experiential, very social media friendly, and can help the brands build brand loyalty, gain publicity for new products, while being temporary, creating an element of scarcity also for the shopper, and focusing on that experience rather than on selling products on the spot. Now finally, once we've given shoppers such an engaging, data-generating experience in the stores, we want to make sure the checkout process is as smooth as possible. We see major retailers such as Walmart looking at various technologies to speed the checkout process by eliminating the need for cashiers altogether. Walmart, for example, has patented methods that would allow shoppers to walk right out the door and be charged automatically by combining machine vision cameras that would visually track shoppers and monitor what they have in their carts, combined with RFID tags that would be attached to specific products and track them, and even scales in the floor that would measure the weight of the shopping cart to make sure it matches with the products the number and amount type of products recorded by the RFID and observed by the camera to charge shoppers automatically. We also see early stage startups working on various technologies for automated checkout, including Mishi Pay on the left, which would require shoppers to scan the items on their own and then pay via mobile app, and then also Standard Cognition on the right, which is aiming to design a method using machine vision to charge shoppers automatically and allow them to walk right out the door. Standard Cognition would use cameras and artificial intelligence to parse that imagery to track the products shoppers are pick up off the shelves, put back on the shelves, maybe try to slip under their jacket without paying, but then charge them automatically through that visual tracking. And these startups are both in their early stages, still in beta mode, but we do see that in China, some of this automated checkout is already becoming a reality. Startups including F5 Future Store on the left and Bingo Box on the right have already opened fully automated convenience stores. These stores require shoppers to scan their phones to enter the store, to pay, and then to exit the store. Tracking the shopper throughout their entire shopping experience, and also aiming to prevent theft by requiring them to scan their phones to even enter the store, ensuring that they're tracked the entire time. So I opened this presentation by posing the question if physical retail is going extinct. I think based on what we've seen, we can say that it's certainly not, but the stores that we see 5, 10 years down the road may look very different from the stores we see today. Thank you so much.